Look, I know you like Dragon Ball, and I'm not gonna make you defend why, but I hated that. This episode was shit. Never again.
This is Buddy Shotz Podcast 170, Batman Beyond Week. Beyond Batman, through the night to the dawn, the day, the scariest,
the darkest day of bats.
Yeah, the most beyond bat the world has ever seen.
I didn't know you could go beyond Batman.
I guess. Yeah, I guess you can. They did it somehow.
Wow.
So, whoa. Couldn't believe it until I saw it. Yeah. So,
cool.
That's pretty much all I got to say about this episode.
All right.
Now we've got Batman Beyond. This is the first season. I have all the other ones at home, but this is the first one. I think nowadays it's in one collection, but this is back when they were like, I think this is season 1, part 1 or something. No, it's just season 1.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, but now it's like, hey, you can buy, I think pretty much the exact same price. You can get the whole thing on one, not one disc, but one collection.
When Next Generation first came out on DVD, it was like $1,000 per season.
Yeah.
Now it's like 1 cent and you get the whole series.
Yeah, they can't give them away. It's like, okay. But this was also back when they were doing commentaries, and there's commentaries on both of these.
Cool.
But I guess we'll get into that. I guess before we just get into this at all, like what'd you think when I said something about this? Really, what the fuck is Batman Beyond?
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with it, so unless you've talked about it, which you probably have.
I don't think I've ever mentioned Batman Beyond, but we've definitely.
Because
Jesus,
it's gonna be like if you mentioned it, I wasn't listening.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like you didn't want to seem like you were being a bad friend or something, like by not hearing it. But no, it's like I've mentioned Batman quite a lot. Well, not quite a lot. Not like every episode.
What?
Like Batman, fucking, can you believe? But like we've done Batman, Batman Returns, The Batman, which I mean I didn't. That was something I think that was nominated, but Batman, The Mask of the Phantasm. Was there any other ones that we've talked about on the podcast?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And then now Batman. I think this... Oh, and Batman the Animated Series, which that was the Batman week, Animated Series week, and this is Batman Beyond, which is a sequel to that series in the future. And because at the same time, they were doing Batman, the Animated Series... That's how successful these were at the time. They were doing Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, and then they got green light to do a Batman Beyond series, which I don't know how the hell they managed to do that at the same time and keep the consistency and quality up like they did.
Well, did you watch these back when they were on, or later when they came on DVD? Or
I didn't see every single episode when it came on because like this was back when when a season came out, it wasn't like 5 episodes. It was like a season was like a shit ton of episodes, and then when it was quite a bit for the first season, but then when it got renewed, it was like, here's the full, and then they went on to do Justice League Unlimited, and that was pretty much the end of the Bruce Timm verse or whatever was Justice League Unlimited. But they also had other ones in there, like something I want to eventually do is somehow work in Static Shock, which I don't know if you've ever heard of that, or it's a pretty cool series about a series that's set in kind of the city, and it deals with a superhero that's a teenager, and it's deals with race and stuff because he's a superhero that gets powers, but he's a young teenage black kid living in kind of not super well to do area. So it's like more so like how do they deal with the powers, and there's like racism and stuff. Well, not all the time, but it's, you know, it touches on more serious issues and stuff. So, which, you know, there are serious issues that get touched on in these too, but they're different issues. So,
like ear damage in nightclubs.
Yeah. Ah! The funniest thing about that is I completely forgot about that until I watched the movie again, and I was fucking cracking up because I was like, literally some guy's getting fucking like ball tortured. Like, that's the song, and everybody's just like, yeah.
Like got a nice groove to it.
It kind of seems like people are dancing, and they ADR'd this in later. But, So, yeah, what, did this seem like they did a good job, at least, of, like, kind of continuing from the Batman animated series? Like, you kind of understood what was going on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
I definitely have Batman fatigue at this point.
Because I've nominated it, like,
well, just
5 times.
like our culture, like, Batman is the most popular character out there.
Yeah, true.
Or Joker. I'm not sure now. But
yeah,
it was cool to see, like, I've never seen Batman like this before.
Right, yeah. I think this
I appreciated it was a little bit of a spin on the character.
It's kind of weird. Like, I understand that, like, when you have a popular character, like, obviously with, like, Superman, like, everybody knows, not everybody, but most people are
everybody knows his name.
Like,
and they're always glad he came to save their lives.
Worst show ever. Or is it? That time I met, what's his face?
George Wendt?
And he's just like, kill me. I was like, shout out to George Wendt for having the flu, I guess, that week or something. That was also on me because I really I don't hate the show, but I'm also not like a huge fan. I think it's kind of, but like when I met him, I had nothing to say to him. So it was like on both our ends, like he wasn't the kind of person that engaged, and I wasn't. I was just like,
you'll never be friends.
Right. I guess not.
Incompatible.
He's like, swipe left. Unless that's the good thing. I don't know. That's how out of touch I am. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Everybody knows Lex Luthor is Superman's villain. And for the most part, I mean, there's others, but it's like, unless you're super into it, you know, it's pretty, for most people, it's like, if you say, hey, who's the Batman fight? You know, it's, Joker.
Yeah.
Who does Superman fight? Lex Luthor. Who does, you know, I mean, I don't know who some of the other ones fight, but you know what I mean? Those are the two big ones that you know who the villains are, but it is kind of weird because, like, if you think about it, there's no other real, like, villain out there that gets, like, so many of their own projects and brought up, because that would be like if they were like, Lex Luthor got his own movie. That people, like, they haven't even done a good Lex Luthor in the live action yet. Yeah. So, like, for them to, like, have so many different versions of the Joker, it's kind of shocking. I mean,
like, enough's enough.
Well, if you think about it, it's not really, like, people still watch it, and it's still, like,
it's
people
huge.
Eat it up. But it's weird that, like, that's accepted, but, like, something like a Lex Luthor isn't, even though it's, like, you could argue that Superman is just as big as Batman, but I guess maybe, I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you were saying, I agree. It's kind of weird that, like, Joker.
Well, so
maybe it's it's more of an archetype, I think, for me, maybe, because I think maybe that's why it's more acceptable, because he's the guy that's like, you don't know what he's gonna do. He's like the crazy character, but that's kind of like an archetype. I mean, obviously, it's not his fault because there's so many copies now, but
yeah.
So go ahead.
I wanted to talk about this because, like,
you're like,
I have a little surprise.
You're like, I got a Joker tattoo.
He's my new favorite character of all time. No, I have nothing wrong with the Joker, but, like, Batman has so many other villains.
Yes,
like, it would be cool to see some other guys featured. So I made a fantasy list of my top 5 Batman villains I'd like to see in the next movie and who would play them.
Okay. So is this like a live action Batman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either they have their own movie or they're the villain in the next Batman movie.
Who would be the villain for them if they have their own movie? Batman?
Yeah.
So he's the villain in every movie? There's too many fucking Batman. Yeah, I'm excited to find this.
So number 5, Nick Cage as Egghead.
Already off to a great start.
You don't think so? Dude, Egghead is...
I mean,
love
I
that
don't think
character.
these old villains are good at all, but I had a feeling this is how this is going to go.
I love the old villains because, like, my favorite like version of Batman is the Adam West version.
My parents are like that too. I mean, I think that it's funny, but I don't find it. It's just like a comedy.
It's an egg-themed villain.
But I mean, it's a comedy. It's not like something I don't take the show seriously. I'm not like, this is actually... But it's funny.
Yeah. Number 4.
Do you think he would... So, like, him doing... Yeah, I could see that. Like, him being...
He'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Number 4, Sigourney Weaver as Two-Face. Let's get some more female villains in there. Because, like... So I went on Batman...
I mean, they already have, like, quite a bit of villains.
Like, Poison Ivy and Catwoman. But then, like...
Harley Quinn. There's, like...
Yeah, that's true.
Trying to think who else, honestly. I mean, they have done, like... There is, like, a female version of Harvey Dent that's in the comics. That,
Really?
Like, yeah, that, like... It's, like, I think, like, the daughter of... I don't know, or something like that. It's, like, an alternate verse, but... That would be
I would guess, like,
interesting.
almost any permutation of any character has been done at this point in the comics.
Yeah. Well, also, they've made female versions of every character,
Yeah.
I'm sure, and it's, like... I mean, I don't know if those female versions
But I mean,
are exactly
Catwoman
something you
and
can
Poison
see.
Ivy and Harley Quinn have been
Yeah,
done
those
to
are
death.
kind of like
so
those are like the
let's get some new
Gothams.
faces in here.
I mean, I don't really feel like they've been maybe like Catwoman and like Harley, but like not really Poison Ivy. I don't think like she's been in a lot of stuff, at least not in a good way. Like Uma Thurman played her, but she can't act worth shit. So
Jesus. All right, number 3, Tony Todd as the Puzzler. The character that's exactly like the Riddler.
except for like nobody knows who they are.
He sets puzzles instead of
Yeah.
riddles for Batman. All right, my last 2 are really good.
No, I mean
promise.
these other ones I would have never thought to cast Sigourney Weaver as
She'd be great.
a male character, so that's interesting.
It doesn't have to be male.
That's true, but it's primarily been a
But
male.
I think the character of Two-Face has like never been, you know.
Oh, you didn't like
fully
Tommy Lee
capitalized.
Jones as fucking...
No, it was horrible.
Yeah, no shit.
All right, number 2, Paul Walter Hauser as King Tut.
Who's that?
The dude from Cobra Kai,
Oh,
Hawk
okay.
or whatever. He'd be great. Number 1, Thomas Ian Griffith as the Scarecrow.
That's the
My only problem is
that's probably the best.
That would be
all the
too
other
scary.
ones are you can throw away. Not
could
that,
never make
no,
that
not
movie,
that I
it'd be
don't
too
think
scary.
the other picks are good, but that one is so fucking perfect.
yeah, because he's tall and
Yeah.
scary.
That or like that or like you. I mean, you could cast him as the Riddler too, or the
He could do
Riddler.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I probably wouldn't cast him as the Penguin because he's fucking fat and small. But dude, can you imagine him as the Joker? No. Why don't you cast him? But no, dude, that's awesome. That's I agree. Like okay, so like if I were to make a Batman film, like this is like fantasy, booking. I'm like I'm booking this shit. But like I would do a movie where it starts off and Batman is fighting the Joker, and the Joker somehow gets killed, and the rest of the movie is the Riddler, Penguin, and like all the other villains like vying for control of Gotham, and Batman having like a night that's like hell because he's trying to pretty much stop the power vacuum that's been created. You know what I mean? By killing the Joker or something like that. I think that would be kind of interesting to see, like, because you would also give them all screen time and stuff. Because that's the one thing that like I think like the Joker is awesome, but I think the big problem is like they don't give like time to the other villains, which is annoying. It's kind of like almost like with Batman, I don't think there's ever been a real good like live action Robin either, or like a Nightwing, or
I went on the
Red Hood
Wikipedia,
or Batgirl or Batwoman, or it's like
I agree. Like the list of villains, I was overwhelmed.
yeah,
like,
there's
this
a
is
ton.
insane.
And they're coming up with new ones like every couple years in the comics that
Let's give them some love.
I mean, there's a new villain that's kind of taken over for Harley Quinn's thing. She's called like Punchline or whatever, and I'm like, that's a new woman villain that could be put in. But like, they're just, you know what I mean? There's just so, like you said, there's just so many that instead it's literally. I mean, I understand you have to draw like a line between like what people recognize and stuff, but you also look at stuff like Guardians, and that shit was like it went huge, and nobody knew who the fuck the Guardians were before James Gunn made that film. So maybe with James Gunn doing the DC stuff now, maybe we'll get some like new blood in. So I'm kind of
Howard the Duck in there.
optimistic in the DC universe.
Why not? Does he Marvel?
Copyright. Yeah.
No, I don't. Oops, I made a whoopsie.
The thing that sucks is they were pretty close to doing like a Howard the Duck like show at one point, like, you know, after kind of like all this but then all this Marvel stuff shit the bed, and they were like,
cooler heads prevailed.
Right. But I mean, that would have been an interesting show. I would have liked to see because he's like a detective. It would have been cool to see like a a noir kind of
detective,
right? You know, I would like to see in a ducktail being told. Yeah, that's a good list.
Cool.
Oh, see you next week. So, yeah, see, I guess getting back to like Batman, but beyond Batman, with like this whole thing, like when you watched it, like I said, like you understood or not understood, but you kind of, when you were watching it, you're like, holy crap! Like, what'd you think about like the idea of like Batman essentially having like
becoming too old,
heart issues, right? And he's kind of doing it like one last mission to save like this, lady that's been kidnapped, and like he has to like do the one thing he never wanted to do, to pick up a gun to save himself, and like that's what kind of stops him. And well, not that, but like even with this suit that he made, he barely can do it anymore, because it's kind of like he's been doing this for so long, and his body, like his heart is like, dude, you can't be doing this shit no more.
Well, he's super old.
Yeah.
I thought it was
you see him ancient later.
I thought it was a cool approach, but I only had one criticism. Like, I wanted to know what happened to his parents. No, I mean, like, Batman's been done to death, so it's cool to see him, when he's too... What
I thought that was...
I
think that's really interesting. Like, when I first watched this, I was like, sometimes when I see stuff that's like, this is a continuation in the future, it can be depressing and, like, turn me off.
Right.
But, like, this was something where, like, they kept him around and, like, in the show enough to, like, but also, like, passing the torch to, like, the new guy and stuff. So it wasn't like, oh, he's not in the show at all. It's like he's in it, like, just him voicing the character and stuff. Like, Kevin Conroy was enough to be like, okay.
Yeah, he's great.
So, but the new blood here, I'm like, oh, blood. We got Will Friedle from Boy Meets World as Terry McGinnis.
Whoa.
And he becomes the new Batman. And Kevin Conroy as old Bruce Wayne. And he comes back, and they've got Derek Austin Powers trying to take over Wayne Tech. I thought that was also kind of interesting that, like, in the future, like, even though Wayne, his parents founded that, like, he's kind of being pushed out of the company. I thought that was kind of like a
corporate politics.
Right, I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. Because then you, like, see later on, like, it's trying to happen, and then, like, 20 years go by, and it's like, now it's like Wayne Powers or whatever is the name of the company. I think at first, like, years ago when I first watched this, I remember thinking, like, he was so fucking, like, scared when he picked up the gun, and then, like, I was thinking, like, well, yeah, no shit, fucking, it's like the thing that fucking killed his parents, so it's like he's still fucking traumatized. Like,
he won't become the thing he hates.
But, like, people were like, I mean, there's different things where it's like, why doesn't Batman use a gun? Why does he just kill and stuff? And it's like, I understand maybe, like, killing. I mean, I don't, but it's also like, Batman specifically, it makes sense for not to use a gun because it's like, the instrument that, like, he's never gonna get over, like, his parents being killed. And realistically, like, who would? Like, you can go to therapy, but, like, I think that's something that's always...
Especially because it was his fault.
Right. Yeah. He fucking shot him in the fucking head. They went down Crime Alley and he pulled a gun on him because they wouldn't take him to the circus. he's like, take me to fucking Theodore Rex.
Dude, that would be quite a twist.
Yeah. But, like... Because it's like, I like the Michael Keaton one, but he was, like, so fine to just say... You know, I guess he honors his parents and stuff. And I think a lot of the Batman stuff, they don't... Not like I'm like, hey, this should just be a pity party of fucking Batman fucking, but, you know. What'd you think about the Batman Beyond intro?
I liked it.
I was shocked to learn that
kind of
none of that was CG.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
None of this was CG, like, in the movie or the show. It
nice.
was... They hand drew it, but, like, did it on computers. Like, you know, like, colored and stuff. But some of the stuff, like the Batman head, like Bruce Wayne's face that kind of goes around, that was like something that like Timm, like it was a sculpt he made in his garage, and he like filmed it and they put it in the show.
That's cool.
So it's like, yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Had this like this arc been done in the comics before, or was this the first time?
I think this was like a brand new thing,
cool.
Just in general, like because they were given the reins to like, you know, do whatever, because they were so successful with the Superman show and the Batman show that I think they were like, okay, well, these guys are hitting it out of the park. What'd you think about the clown, the Joker gang? What's I thought it was kind of weird that like there was like Joker has had like such an impact that like probably like 40 years later, there are people that are still like imitating him and stuff. Like, what do you think about that? It was kind of weird that there were no Riddler gangs, but... or not. I guess. I mean,
it's like how Luke Skywalker became a myth,
right? Well, yeah, true,
but that was totally botched.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, Joker fatigue already setting in. But it was kind of interesting.
I think it made sense, like, because they didn't want to do like I think like it was smart to not do like hey, let's do like the son of Joker shows up, totally. Or like son of Riddler, or you know, like the Penguin, you know, cousin. Yeah. It was like the way that they had any of the old villain was to have that, which I thought was like legit.
I did like how they went far into the future.
Yeah.
They really pushed it like beyond realism, but that's fine. Like, it's cool to see Batman in a more sci-fi setting.
Right, yeah, because I mean, realistically, the stuff he uses is sci-fi. It's like, kind of like James Bondy kind of stuff.
It's all real to me.
Yeah. George Takei voicing the henchman, Mr. Fix.
Oh.
Did you believe it?
I didn't know that.
Did you know? Did you believe it?
And I don't believe it.
So, Derek Powers, can you guess who he was voiced by? Did you even look up any of the people's voices? Bub, Sherman Howard.
Whoa, no way! From K9 as henchman that gets punched in the face?
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know he did voice stuff.
Yeah, I saw he's done more of that than, like, you know, live action, it looked like. I was like, damn. Yeah, at the end of the first episode, Bruce Wayne needs his heart medicine, and, like, they fucking play him up on this episode because he, like, beats ass with that cane. I was like, Jesus.
He can still handle himself
still go.
When he has to.
I liked that they worked in, like, Ace, because that's, like, a character from, like, the comics.
Oh, I didn't know.
Because back in the day, they had, like, not every, but a lot of them, like, in the old comics were, like, Crypto the Superman dog, Ace the Bat Hound, and they would, like, fight, and everybody was like, cool, and then nowadays it's like, what? Like, I could see, like...
I just called him Bat Dog.
Right. Bat Dog, even though they said his name. Mm-hmm. Nice.
I called him that. I said I called him that.
I called him that.
I was calling him that before they even
I called him that. So you're like, I made this shit up.
This is my show and it freaks me out, dude. Yeah.
I guess the big question is here, did you watch both parts?
Yeah. I understood the assignment.
I was like, I don't know if you ever sent anything back, so I was like, okay, I guess once we get to that point.
Yeah, I did.
Maybe it'll just be me flapping my gums again, and you'll be like... which is good, because this is like a major... two-parter, yeah. Which nowadays they would just like air it as an hour, but like, and it wouldn't even be a two-parter. But back then they were like, yeah, we got to do this as a two-parter because, you know, they weren't going to get that other time slot. I thought the way they showed the dad's death in this was done really well. Yeah. Like, I also have a note here that says, I wish they would just let the animated division take over everything, because like from the movies and stuff, because they get the characters, and like the stories they tell are always like way more interesting than the stories, and they have the same amount of time as a movie too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I thought the animation was good for sure. I thought Mask of Phantasm was still a step higher in quality than this show and movie.
Well, I mean, that one actually went to theater.
Yeah, because these felt more like TV to me, which is fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it was really good for TV animation for sure.
But like the movie,
Very
like
stylish.
was like it went straight to DVD, so it was kind of not really ever meant to be. But it was still like the animation was some of the stuff was better than the stuff in Mask of Phantasm, but like I feel like the plot was not as good. Yeah. But the show, like I wish they would more so like the animated division, as far as like not making animated movies. I meant like more so like the people that like write for those shows, like Bruce Timm and stuff, and like, you know, because they understand the characters and aren't trying to like do a bunch of shit that like nobody likes. Like they're not trying to cast Jared Leto as the fucking Joker and shit,
and have him not tell any jokes,
right? And have damage on his fucking face. A lot of the futuristic stuff, like you were talking about, was cool, because some of that stuff was in not like the look of it was from like the futuristic looking stuff was kind of some of the stuff like that looked like from like alien stuff in like the Superman show, where it's literally you look at a screen and it's so alien you can't even like understand. There's no words. It's like when they would hack into a fucking computer on this show, it's literally like a bunch of fucking lines and squares, and they're like, oh, I can't. What's, you know, like they know what it looks like, but I'm like, what is this? But I thought that was
like
cool.
The updated version of blinking dots and like the old 60s
Right.
James Bond movies and stuff.
I was like, holy shit, dude, this is so futuristic, I can't even comprehend what the fuck this is. Like, they got rid of the alphabet.
Yeah.
So, Lauren Tom as Dana Tan, who also played Amy from Futurama, as his girlfriend. I thought it was cool that they have Barbara Gordon plays who played Batgirl, is now the commissioner.
Yeah. Following in her dad's footsteps.
What'd you think about the way the characters kind of dressed? It was kind of like almost like a Victorian kind of thing, and like Mr. Fix had like Austin Powers shirt on with like the frilly cuffs. I was like, that was kind of an interesting, because usually whenever they have futuristic clothes, it's like streamlined and stuff, but in this show it's more so like people were wearing like almost like Victorian and kind of almost long coats sometimes.
They put some thought into the details of the show.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
So I thought it was kind of interesting that like Batman decides to like take him on, but he already has like some sort of athletic background, so it's probably like the first time he's ever taken on somebody that's already been so well rounded. Like usually they're like young kids that, you know, Dick Grayson, the first Robin, had like, he was like athletic and was in the circus, but like he was not a fighter. But like Terry does wrestling, you know, you see him like doing other stuff, and it's like he already can, you know, handle his own and stuff like that. So the suit just amplifies that. And the one thing I was kind of like, I forgot about when I first, you know, when I watched it again, was that like when he goes on his first flight with the suit, he doesn't crash, and I'm like, dude, that is better than like I think most people would have done. Like, I would have been like, dude, I would have been dead. You know what I mean? Like,
you don't know how to conquer flight on your first attempt.
I'm like, no. And then you turn over and I'm a ghost. Bruce Wayne paralyzes the suit and Terry gets a beating.
He let that beating go on a little too long for my taste.
Yeah. The dog was like, the fuck? But that's the thing is, like, that's something that, there's, like, an episode later on in, like, Justice League Unlimited where, like, there's, like, kind of a time thing that happens, and young Bruce Wayne meets old, like, Batman meets old Bruce Wayne, and Batman tries to, like, intimidate, like, this foe, this bad guy or whatever, and, like, is, like, gonna, like, he's, like, beating his ass or whatever, and the guy's like, I'm not gonna tell you anything. And the old Bruce Wayne takes him over and says, like, one thing to him, like, you don't hear it, and he starts confessing right away. And, like, old Bruce Wayne's like, I can't believe I was ever that green. And I was like, Jesus!
Dude, nice.
Like, it just shows that, like, this Bruce Wayne is even more, like, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's, like, he's fine. Like, you could believe this guy'd be fine to just... Because he stepped away from being Batman and never even tried to train someone new. So there have been many murders that have happened that he just had to say, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, he's grizzled and he's hardened. But through the power of friendship, his heart opens up.
Yeah.
And he trains another man to become a fucking vigilante and beat criminals' asses.
It's the power of love.
Yeah! He's like, here, there, and everywhere. Or that's hip to be square.
Totally different.
Yeah!
Don't sound anything alike.
Like, the Venga bus is coming. So, Power says, like, shooting Skit. I'm like, yeah, baby! Like, really? Yeah, the one thing that kind of gets him to kind of turn around, he's like, I read up on your folks, Mr. Wayne. And he was just like, stop! Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
it's a little better than someone saying Martha.
Just a little bit. You know what the funny thing is? I think they thought they were being smart there, and the even funnier thing is, I never even thought to think that Martha
Why'd you say that
Wayne
name?
and Martha Kent, they had the same name. Because, like, who would have thought, like... Yeah. Anyway, I don't need to go into that shit.
Yeah.
So, something in this room is what I'm about to talk about my next note. Batman hangs upside down on his feet. Just like the James Bond poster. You remember that scene where he's like...
But he didn't have a weird toe.
Yeah, he wasn't... He was literally... His suit's, like, cool and he can magnetize the shit. And then that... bullshit's occurring.
He turned into an altered... Like a monkey man.
Yeah, he's like Spider-Man. If Spider-Man could hook through his shoe...
He's got hands on his feet.
Yeah, I was like, what? And somehow... go 90 degrees with just his foot.
He turned into a Sebulba.
Yeah. Even Sebulba probably wouldn't be able to hold himself like fucking like plank. Like it's like, huh? Powers gets into the gas and his scream is like horrifying. I was like, good job, Howard, bub.
He went for it.
Yeah. Sulu gets shocked and screams in hell. He went to mega hell. He was like, I was like, Jesus. Dude, the voiceover artist on this fucking rule.
Nice acting.
Very well, Mr. McGinnis. Welcome to my world. He's like, welcome to my Schrock party. So at the end of this, you see that Austin Powers or whatever turns into this glowing skull guy who goes on to become Blight.
Okay.
He's like a reoccurring villain for Terry McGinnis. He has some really cool villains. There's like a villain in it called, like, I think Plastique, that's like kind of like an inky woman or whatever. But like, she's not made of ink, but like she, can kind of like morph or whatever. So, a bunch of other cool stuff. But
Cool.
The only commentary for like this. The series was on the first disc. I don't know why they didn't do it on the second episode, but this happened a lot back in the day where they'd be like, they do select commentaries. Yeah. But then again, like, when I was watching it, I don't think they were recording this once the show was over, because they were talking about how they're ramping up for another season.
Yeah.
So this must have been a downtime, so they were probably busy as fuck. So that's probably why they didn't have time to go through the whole series. they were talking about how they were still shooting the show on film, and now it's like, digital and stuff. And they had to cut out a shot of like, I guess like when Bruce Wayne has that chest, like that heart attack or whatever, then that guy's hitting him and stuff. They had to cut out a bunch of shots because there was like a bunch of shots of the dude beating his ass with a wrench. And the people were like, what the fuck is this? So they had to they had to cut that out. They were like, I can't believe you guys put that in.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here, because I think I did talk about like a lot of the stuff. They were laughing how they were like, yeah, in the future people are still using discs and giant cell phones. And I was like, I guess I didn't really even think about
that's
that.
Something that everyone got
Well, I
wrong.
was so engrossed in the show, I didn't even think about it. But yeah, they were using cell phones, and it was like, wait a minute. He said crime has moved off the streets and into the boardroom. And he's like, well, except for this scene we're watching now where the Jokers are fighting someone. And they were like laughing. They were like, well, we were wrong about that part. But, they do talk about how, I guess I'll bring it up for this, but not only in the episodes we watch, but in the movie, there's Akira references with the motorcycle chase and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't think about that.
That
makes sense.
The guy that animated Akira animated the laser scene in Beyond Joker, and he's like, I want to top myself. And I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Wow.
His brother's name was Matt.
Matt,
what'd you think about that? Studio wanted to have his brother get in on the adventures, and they were like, fuck no. Because he was a little kid, and it's like, what?
Probably for the best.
Yeah, it was the kind of stuff that they were doing was way more mature, you know. And they were like, we want to make...
You want to add Poochie on this show.
One of the last notes, or one of the last things they were talking about was how, or what, it is the last thing, was they wanted to make it more kid-friendly. And this, a lady, not they wanted to make it more kid-friendly, but their higher-ups were like, make it more kid-friendly like Buffy. And at the time they hadn't watched Buffy, but then they were like, well, kids don't watch Buffy. That's teenagers and stuff, and older, adults.
Yeah.
And he hadn't seen Buffy, and he's seen it now, and he's like, I really like the show now, but he's probably for the best that I didn't see it, because I don't even know what the fuck that means to make it kid-friendly like Buffy. So
it's almost like the people running these businesses don't know.
Right? Yeah, I know, right? Just the intro of the corporate dog shit. So I guess we'll continue on to Return of the Joker. This is kind of just one big long, thing. It's not like these are disconnected, because honestly, when you start this up, it's pretty much a continuation of the adventures we've just witnessed. This is kind of like a James Bond thing, because they have an action sequence in the beginning here, and then it goes to the credits, and then goes on to the show. But
yeah,
I like the sequence where he's fighting, and they're he's fighting these guys, and they are attacking from all sides as it kind of whips around and stuff. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, the action was pretty well done.
Yeah,
in both of these, I think.
I found out that Melissa Joan Hart, Sabrina, played Dee Dee.
I did not know that.
The characters, yeah. And then they have Lethal Weapon-esque sex rock music for the intro. I thought that was I was like, wait a minute, I forgot about that. Yeah, it was yeah, I don't even know. It was because for the show, it's kind of almost kind of techno-y, kind of in the intro and stuff. But this was almost kind of a James Bondy kind of thing. James Bondage. I'm wait, what?
It definitely felt of the time to me.
Yes.
The turn of the century, around 2000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because, dude, I didn't even know because I had never watched the features on this until recently, but there's a fucking music video to this for a song that... It's the song in the club where the guy's just going, ah! And I don't fucking understand why they paid someone to do that, because I watched the music video and was it was very Blade-esque.
That was such a thing back in the day, though.
The guy had his hair up into bat wings. The lead singer, dude, it was so out of control.
Now I kind of want to see it.
Yeah. Shout out to voice director Andrea Romano. She was the person that like casted all the DC animated voices. So like Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, like all these people.
Yeah, she was on that tribute video, wasn't she? For Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, she rules. Whenever you would, back in the day, like whenever you would see a feature, like an animated feature from DC, and it was like she was on there, and then like Kevin Conroy, and then like George Newbern, and you know, all the people that played Batman, Superman, you know, that kind of thing, you knew it was going to be like awesome. What'd you think about Bruce killing Two-Face with the fucking batarang and then saying, "I still got it"? I was like, so you're telling your dog that? The dog's like, dude, I don't understand what the fuck you're talking about. Or does he? He's like, fuck him. I thought it was kind of interesting that, like, even to this day, Bruce Wayne still keeps all of, like, his past villains as mannequins.
He even had the big penny in there.
Yes.
Nice touch.
Yeah. But
I was like, this is a sick freak.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't have that egg that got hatched.
The dinosaur egg.
He got fucking horrified from. It's like, what do you think was going to fucking happen?
His own plan.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite thing ever in Batman.
So stupid. That's like a buddy shot skit.
It is.
It's like, huh? He's like...
It's either that or when the Joker surfed and said, "Cowabunga,
yeah.
Cowabunga."
I think the egg one's funnier. Because the egg one is like... What?
It literally makes no sense.
Yeah, it's like... Well, it's like, why did he think a dinosaur was going to come out? And then, like, when it actually happened, he was like, what the fuck?
And no one else. Like, he was the only one that had flipped out.
Yeah, it's like... That makes even less sense that no one else thought it was fucked up. It's like, what? So the dude on... The guy
named... dinosaur became Theodore, right?
Yeah, he was like... And that dinosaur was me. So they've got a red herring right off the bat here. This Price guy is voiced by Mark Hamill on TV. Maybe this guy's the Joker.
Had me going.
Yeah. Did it?
Yeah.
Nice. Terry falling asleep on the dance floor. Joker. And black leather and elf ears. And black fingernails. It was so this is like a look for Joker that has never been done before. Like I thought this was definitely something that was interesting because he kind of comes back and he almost has like a vampire-esque look to him because his ears are like pointy for some reason, and his like he has black fingernails, and like he's almost kind of gone like goth.
Yeah, like full monster.
Yeah, and he's got like black shiny leather. Everything. Well, not
it looked
everything.
Cool for sure.
Yeah,
I was just a little disappointed because I wanted like them to take advantage of him being super old.
Yeah,
which I think that they didn't really do, which is fine. But I was just looking forward to what would happen, you know, because they definitely got to that with the Bruce Wayne part.
Yeah, it's because it's like he isn't old. It's like he takes over a younger person's body. I mean, younger by comparison. But like.
But a super old, decrepit Joker, like that would be terrifying. It could have been something.
Yeah, they've already done that in a couple other things, but like it would have been interesting, I guess, to see it. But they had done it in comics already, but they hadn't done it in like the animated stuff yet because they did like another Dark Knight, like I forget what it's called. It's like the comic where the Joker kind of like is older and stuff, and like he's like, I'm turning over a new leaf, and then he's like, just kidding.
I think pretty much any idea I throw out there, like they've already done that in comics.
Well, no, I mean, I think it was just like they hadn't done it like in like animated stuff, so they could have done it here. The whole like him, the whole plan was kind of weird because it's also like I guess we'll just talk about it now. Like Joker takes over like he takes over the animator's body. He takes over Tim Drake, the second Robin's body, through a microchip he implanted on him when he was younger after he tortured him. But if he would have never told it, like anybody about it, like fucking Terry would have never known to fucking shock it.
I guess I didn't even think about that.
I when I watched this, I was like, because I love Mark Hamill so much as the Joker. He's like my perfect Joker. He's like, dude, this guy's so good that like I was like I was like rooting for him to like come like be always there, but I knew that he wasn't gonna be. But what was I gonna say? But I forgot, like, in this so the version we watched, I guess we could talk about that now, is the uncut version. Originally this came out, like, this version is the edited version, and in 2002 they released the uncut version, which they originally had made. And the differences between those are, you know, they're minor, but there are actual, like, you know, differences, which I'll talk about when, you know, we get to it and stuff. But, like, this is one of the things here where the Joker, he kills the shit out of one of the henchmen, and in the edited version, he just shoots him with gas, and the guy, like, passes out. And they actually animated the differences. It's not, like, edited. But another thing is, like...
versions.
Yeah, like, when... Tim Drake shoots and kills the Joker in our version. In the edited version, he throws the gun down, pushes him away, and Joker, like, falls back into this, like, water, and then pulls this lever to get himself up, and, like, off screen, you hear him, like, laughing as he's being electrocuted. It's like, it's still fucked up, but it's not, like, the same where fucking he gets shot by... So... I thought it was interesting that they went so far as to animate both versions.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a weird edit job or anything. But I think that they did that so that they could have their cake and eat it too, because they knew when they were doing that they were like, you know, they're probably going to say... But it is interesting to see something, especially around this time, that's this... you know, I'm not like, hey, let's go fucking dark. Let's, you know, you want to fucking go, motherfuckers? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not someone that's like, we got to have an R-rated fucking Star Wars movie. I want to see heads
the dark
get cut
and
off.
gritty version.
Where the limbs fucking... Give me the fucking incarnate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've never been somebody that's like into... I mean, if I'm watching a horror movie, it's whatever, but like... It's cool to kind of see, like, especially around this time, to see something this, like, essentially, Tim Drake was fucking, like, assaulted in this, and, you know, he shoots him, and is fucking crying, and it's, like, the trauma, and so, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. Essentially, this movie's about someone, you know, I mean, I guess the whole thing's about trauma. You know, so, but like, you know, that kind of deal. It was like interesting to see them go for it.
Yeah, for sure.
What'd you think about the one guy in the gang, the Joker gang, that had he was a kind of a scarecrow guy, and he had like the plastic pumpkin thing, and he was doing his Christopher Walken impression the whole time. Michael Rosenbaum also played Lex Luthor in Smallville, and he played the Flash in the DC animated universe, and he's back here as Ghoul.
Cool.
That came about because...
I thought it was Christopher Walken at first. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, so the whole thing about that is that when he was doing, like, the DC stuff with, like, Bruce Timm and all those as the Flash, when he was, like, I guess, messing around in the booth, he would do his Christopher Walken impression, and they thought it was so good, they were like, we're going to use that one day, and they were like...
They're like, I like that.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah! And that's pretty much what happened. They were just like, hey, would you come in and do that for this character? So I thought that was hilarious, because I was watching, I was like... Because I hadn't seen this forever, and I was like, wait a minute.
Just a full-on Christopher Walken.
Right, exactly. Just ran in. There was no... Like, he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
He probably didn't even know this fucking shit existed, honestly. But
now I wish all the henchmen would have done, like, impressions.
Weird
like
impressions
a Gilbert
or whatever.
Gottfried one. And,
they could do, like, they could have somebody come in and do a Arnold Schwarzenegger impression for Mr. Freeze. That would have been funny. But, sadly, only, like... Well, I was going to say, sadly, only the Joker showed up, but that wasn't even the Joker that we were talking about. What was it? So, this is when they're kind of talking about, like, the Joker's, like, comes back, and they're like, how the fuck, you know, how's he back? He's got to be in his mid-80s now, like, and he's like...
Somehow Palpatine has returned.
Right, and he's just like, he doesn't want to talk about it, because essentially you find out that you think, you know, did fucking Bruce Wayne actually kill him, finally? Like, what, or no, not Batman, Bruce Wayne. He's like, fuck you! But, like, you eventually find out it was by no fault of his own, but it kind of was because he trained these kids to fucking fight. But I also thought this was funny. They had this thing here. It was like voice match ID, and on the screen it says Joker deceased. Like, he keeps a file of all of his guys, so I guess when, like, the Riddler dies, he'll just, like, of old age, he'll be like, well, he's dead, deceased, change
cross
that.
him out.
But, like, I thought it was funny that, like, he was sitting there, like, listening to him and stuff, and they sound exactly the same, and he's waiting to see if it's the same, and I'm like, dude, this motherfucker, it's Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, obviously...
You've only encountered him your entire
life. Right,
life.
yeah. That'd be like if I heard you and then, like...
Could it be?
I was like, is this Matt on the phone? But then again, I mean, that's not... I'm like, is this Matt back?
I'm back.
Yeah! I want you to get back to Batman suit. What? Why? There is no reason for you to continue. He's essentially saying, like, you've honored your father's legacy, you caught the murderers and stuff like that, and you've pretty much,
Mission accomplished.
Right, and he's just like, you didn't, like, unlike all the other Robins, you didn't, like, force me into this, I came to you. Like, essentially, like, because the other ones, it's like, he took them in and then started kind of training them and stuff. And this, it was
his
like...
ward.
Right. But in this, it was like, essentially, like, he was fine, but he, stumbled into it and was like,
Yep.
He was like, let me help you! I put, the music in the club does a perfect impression of me after watching that telephone.
That club scene was memorable for sure.
Joker antitoxin. Ace whimpers. Joker shows up at the Batcave. So this was like something I remember when I watched this the first time that I was like, what the fuck?
Like, oh, no.
Seeing the Joker in the Batcave, like, what the fuck?
Joker caught him in the first act.
Yeah. He was like, Mark Hamill's Joker is the best. So, okay, I didn't really get about, I didn't get this, but like, I put, Jesus, this club had a big tank with liquid in it. What if it fell over? There's people in there! Because, like, he uses it to his advantage, but, like, when he knocks it over and it breaks, it's like Niagara Falls. And I'm like, is that really a good idea to have that in a fucking club with, like, 1 billion people in there? Like, come on. What do you think about Bruce Wayne being Joker-fied?
It was horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, when people get Joker-fied in this, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like in the animated series when he does it too. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like, good lord, dude, this is horrifying. I went, he was Joker-fied! But yeah, it's like...
I think still the best version is from the Batman Michael Keaton, the first one.
I think that one's like, definitely like fucked up. But I think like these are like scarier because like they're characters we know.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bruce Wayne, especially being like,
Like, how's he gonna get out of this?
Well, it's like Bruce Wayne doesn't laugh, so for him to like see, he's a very serious guy. So for that to happen, it's like, dude, this is already kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm like, but not him being tortured. What you think about Ace watching a Bugs Bunny cartoon? He was like, oh yeah, I understand. Like, did he understand that? He looked like he was watching it. It's like a dog watching a fucking show. Also, it was the fucking one where, like, Bugs Bunny makes the dude think that he fucking killed him. And he's like, I can't believe I committed murder. No. And I'm like, I remember that one and being like, dude, this is fucked up. Like, when I was a kid.
So I can't help but going off on a tangent since you mentioned that.
Yeah.
And you can cut this out, but
No,
that
you
was
can.
funny.
You're like, fuck!
So I watched one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen called Ghost in the Machine from 1993, I think.
Ghost in the Machine?
Yeah, and it stars Karen Allen from, like, Indiana Jones.
Who is she? Is she Marion?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about a serial killer who dies and his soul gets transferred into, like, he has the ability to control computers and electricity and stuff. It's so stupid. But he tries to, like, kill Karen Allen and her family. And one of the things he does is he like manipulates the circuit breakers in the house, and it somehow turns on the TV where they have an instructional video that's for dogs. And the dog watches the video, and it's like a video to teach dogs how to swim. And so it watches the video, and then it goes and drowns himself in the pool. And I was like, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in a movie.
Dude,
So
what the...
it can happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean... I meant more like, do you think he was watching it out of entertainment, not how to commit a murder?
Absolutely.
I was like, what? You know, that went completely not where I thought you were going to go. I thought you were going to say something about, like, Bugs Bunny or something. You're like, I'm going to go on a tangent. Bugs Bunny killed my family. Like, what?
But the clip...
That is hilarious.
The clip went on for so long, for a split second, I was like, wait a minute, did something get messed up?
You know, it's funny you say that, because that's actually something they say that, like, when they showed this, like, I guess, like, to, like, a, you know, like, the screening or whatever, to, like, kind of, you know, whatever it's called, like, show it to people before they kind of get reactions and stuff. Well, I mean, yeah, but obviously before they get reactions. So, like, I got a reaction first, and then we showed it to them. People thought that, like, the real, like, got turned over on a different thing because it's Warner Brothers. So they were like, what happened here? But, like, they said, yeah, that's one thing that they kind of were like, we should have, like, cut that a little bit down. Because, like, they were like, people were like, what happened here? Yeah. It's like, I mean, I was going to say it's like, but I'm just an idiot. I thought that part in fucking with the dudes walking in that one movie.
Oh, Point Blank.
Yeah, I thought the fucking movie fucked up, and you were like, it's called Style. Like, I fucked up. It's like, what's happening in this fucking movie? So they go to a flashback. I thought this. I always like this. Well, I didn't like this, but I like. It's cool to see, like, you're in the future, but they go back and do a flashback of, like, what happened to, like, some of the other people that were hanging out with Batman, because like, you never really, besides Barbara Gordon, like, they don't talk about, like, Nightwing or, like, you know, this other Robin.
Yeah.
You get to see, like, a younger Batman.
Yeah. In his prime.
But Tim Drake gets kidnapped, and they fucking essentially torture him for, like, 3 weeks. And, like, which seems kind of like, I mean, I would say maybe it's a short time to, like, brainwash somebody, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I've never been tortured.
Sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, but, like, I mean, it is the Joker. He's probably got, like, mega torture methods or something. But, like, apparently he beat his ass. And turns him into Joker Jr. And when I first saw it, I was scared. It was creepy.
It shocked you.
Yeah. I think the weirdest thing about it, well, the weirdest thing about it to me is he's wearing these short shorts, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm so used to seeing the Joker, like, in full pants and regalia. Yeah, and it's like he's wearing, like, you know, howdy doody shit over here. I'm like, this is more fucked up than anything I've ever seen.
Like Beavis and Butthead over here.
Yeah, right, yeah. He's like, yeah. But he fucking kills the shit out of the Joker with a gun. Like, Joker Jr.'s got a gun. Nice. But it's like he's laughing, and then he starts crying, and I'm like, Jesus. Also, Harley Quinn dies. Or does she? She, like, she does the classic falling off a cliff to your death. Yeah. It's like, that's the classic, like, Joker Shredder kind of thing. Joker says, what's the matter, Batman? No Woody come back? And then he's like, I'll provide the narration, and he's like essentially showing all the shit they did to him off screen, and he's like, Batman's like, you know, it's like fucking horrible stuff. Yeah. And it's like, and he's like, pretty much like he eventually told him that, like, Batman is Bruce Wayne, and he's just like, you know, it's kind of anticlimactic, and it's just like, it's so fucked up, you know. It's like the Joker knows who he is, you know. It's like, I think this is maybe the first time in at least, like, the animated stuff that, like, at least the Joker kind of finds that out. You know what I mean? I don't know if had they done that in the movies at all, like where the villains find out, or That I can think of, at least the live action ones. Like, I don't think, like, the Joker didn't find out about Michael Keaton being Batman, did he?
No,
You're welcome.
I don't think so.
Not Bruce Wayne. Michael Keaton. He's like, who's playing Michael? He's
Not
playing
until
Bruce Wayne.
he used his signature catchphrase, "You want to get nuts?"
Or when they brought him back in the fucking shitty Flash movie, and he's like, you ever dance? He's like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And I'm like, that wasn't his fucking, like he didn't have, like, lines. It's like, this is, like, that's what's wrong with this shit. It's like, come on. And then they blow up the yacht. I thought that was the Justice League's watchtower laser, but I guess it was just a random satellite that, like, Joker controlled. It was a satellite with a friggin' laser beam attached to its forehead.
He's wielding some serious power.
That's true. He's lording it over us. Joker in this, when I started watching it more, I was like, man, he kind of looks like Lupin, but then I put with his har cut instead of hair, so that was great. I don't know how to spell. Another thing, too, that was kind of fucked up is that, like, Joker, usually it's like people get away and stuff like that, but he's, like, putting a laser through the city here, so people are being fucking murdered. Basically
nuking the place.
Right, he's like fucking,
the
scorched
finger of God.
earth, right, and it's like fucking the Hammer of Dawn from Gears of War or whatever.
Yeah.
That only worked in certain times. It's like, dude, fuck this. When there was a super huge guy you couldn't kill with guns. Anyway, so he, like, kills the shit out of some people, and it's like, dude, there's nothing you can do about it. It's
like, there's no way they can escape this fate.
Right. Essentially, they're, like, in a fucking building and they get blown up, and I'm like, dude, they're fucking dead. There were people in there for sure. So, I stay up at night thinking about it. But in all seriousness, folks.
Unlike after, what was it, Batman or Man of Steel, they have to, like, show how every city is emptied out before, like, all the massive battle takes place.
Makes total sense. It's like, at least in, like, the show, like, Dragon Ball, they'll be like, when they're gonna have a fight, like, they're like, the bad guy is, like, gonna whoop his ass or whatever, and he's just like, before we fight, let's go to a unpopulated area. They go to, like, the desert, essentially, and it's like, that at least makes sense, and it's also, I mean, for the animators, it makes more sense, because it's like, oh, we just get to draw, like, we don't have to draw a bunch of buildings, but, the good guys would usually do that anyway, but, I mean, it's not like Batman, like, Terry McGinnis can be like, hey, come on, everybody, let's go over here, Joker, like, well, I guess that's not the Joker, it's the laser, but anyway, same shit. It's like Superman, like you were saying.
Laser!
But yeah, I mean, that's a whole different problem with fucking Man of Steel. Man of Steel, like, if he was really Superman, he wouldn't have been fucking fighting people in an IHOP and, like, trying to rip people's heads off and
nice
breaking cocks. He's like, I'm gonna stomp you, dick. So when I was watching this, I was like, dude, like, at the end of this here, we're like, this hyena man or whatever, like, actually, like, makes a noise for the first time. I was like, man, that sounds like fucking Slimer. And then I looked it up, and it was Slimer.
Dude, nice. You nailed it.
Frank Welker,
who
played Slimer and Ray, and many other things. Anytime you hear
he's like the king of voice acting.
Yeah, anytime you hear, like, an animal in anything,
it's
like,
him.
even live action stuff, he's making. Like, if it's an animal doing stuff that animals don't normally do, like, he's doing it. And he played Fred in Scooby. I think that's probably his biggest role. People know him from as Fred as Scooby-Doo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, people that are into Scooby-Doo.
Onion Head himself.
Yes.
He'll always be Onion Head to me.
I'm like, now you're just being a dick.
Total hipster.
Total hipster. You don't even like Ghostbusters, really, do you?
I like Ghostbusters the movie.
The first one?
Yeah.
But not the second one.
Not the second one.
You like the worst one? Or is it? So Terry says, good, bad dog. So, yeah.
Did you know this movie won an Annie Award and was nominated for 5?
No, I didn't know. I didn't actually know anything about the...
And it also won 4 DVD exclusive awards. So this DVD...
The DVDs.
Quite the thing.
What it win? The DVDs.
Best animated character performance, Mark Hamill, Bruce Timm. Best sound, best animated video premiere, and best art direction.
Nice. I'm like, I disagree.
Gloria's like, this is what I think about it.
She's like, I hate fucking movies. I'm like, no, fair enough. She's like, I can't even eat this shit. This end thing with like the fight between the Joker and Terry is legit because like he fights him in his own way. Like Batman taught his like subordinates to like, well, not subordinates, his like, you know, people that he worked with to fight like him and not to like fight dirty. Don't, you know, like, you know, do this or that. And like, but like Bruce Wayne is too old to give a shit, and Terry is not. He was never trained by Bruce Wayne, so it's essentially at this point like he like low blows him, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "I'm fighting dirty," and he's like, real Batman wouldn't do that." And he's like, "I don't give a shit."
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Dude, this is awesome."
Nice touch for sure.
I also like how at the end where he like turns the lights out, and he's essentially like taunting the Joker, and the Joker, it's like, "No, Batman never did that," and he's just like, you know, you like Batman because he wouldn't talk to you, and you could say whatever you wanted to him, but like, you're not funny at all, and you're, you know, you're just a weak.
Like, I ain't your daddy's Batman.
Right? He's like, you're a fucking, you know, you're not a comedian, and he's just like, shut up. And I was like to see the Joker react like that, it's like, holy shit, dude. Like, at least when I first watched this, I was like, holy shit. Gloria agrees. But, I guess the big reveal is that, well, I guess we already talked about it, kind of, but, like, what's his face? The Riddler is not in this movie. But, Tim Drake got essentially, like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde with a fucking chip that he implanted back in the day, thinking that maybe something would happen to him, I guess. I don't know. Like, you gotta think, though, like, how did Batman not see that? You gotta think that, like, he took him to, like, he got him thoroughly checked out or something like that. I mean, he went to a therapist, they said, for, like, years after that. So, like, how the fuck did nobody ever see a fucking botch job? I mean, they zoom in on it, so maybe it was, like, you know, the grain of sand or something like that, and he would never see it. Maybe think it was just, like, a freckle or something, or like a something. I don't know. Not that like that matters at all. It's not like I'm like, this is bullshit, but I was just thinking about
Put it on IMDb goofs.
Yeah. So he kills the shit out of the Joker. He shocks him. He was shocked. And then we find out that who are the twins Dee Dee's grandmother? It's Grandma Harley. She's alive. I thought it was kind of weird that I'm choked to death. I thought it was kind of weird that like Harley Quinn doesn't look anything like Harley Quinn.
Oh,
like it's voiced by her, but I mean, like if you're, well, I mean, she's an old woman
Yeah.
and she doesn't look anything like.
I thought she was cool looking.
But no, I mean, she's an old woman. She's just an old woman. But I'm saying like there's no qualities to make you think that she would have ever been. You know what I mean? Like she
wasn't in full costume.
Well, no, it wasn't like Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, he like evolved into a decrepit version of himself. Like Harley Quinn evolved into like another person. But at least like the look, the taste, the feel. I like this last line, or not last line, but he says, this is like also like Bruce Wayne, as much as he's kind of cut off, he's also changed way more than he had, you know, even when he was doing regular Batman. He's like, I'm doing regular Batman. He says, Terry, I've been thinking about something you once told me, and you were wrong. It's not Batman that makes you worthwhile, it's the other way around. Never tell yourself anything different.
Nice.
And I was just like, that's the closest he's ever going to get to like a compliment.
Yeah.
Because it is a compliment.
Like now, Batman can never die.
Yeah.
With that philosophy.
He will be alive for years to come. So let's talk about the special features here. We've got a Batman doc that kind of sucks. It's like literally like the legend lives.
But this one best DVD release.
The legend lives in the future. It's all about secrets. I went, what? But, like, it's essentially a bunch of, like, questions that were asked that they add, like, a digital, like, cartoon character, like, asking these questions. But, like, they're so non-specific, like, so it's like...
DVD special features are definitely hit or miss.
Right, like, what do you think about being Batman? And the main guy says, I get to say I'm Batman. Talk about getting dates. And I'm like, okay, this is all scripted. Like,
filler.
These aren't actually... Kevin, as the voice of Bruce Wayne, you must know the latest Gotham gossip. Kevin Conroy says, there is a huge plot point that is revealed.
Sounds like...
And I went, and this is the fucking freeze frame I got from it.
That says it all, dude.
He was like... Also, this is the guy in the music video.
That was pretty stupid. Like,
but this was really cool. It's like an animation cell at the bottom there.
he's actually drawing like a comic book cell or whatever?
That's actually, like the cell that was used
nice.
in the movie. But, let's see here. If there's, I think that was pretty much it for, like, this documentary or this doc. They talk about the animated to your voice. Shows a music video for Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Deleted scene, so there's a meeting between Price and Bruce after Joker attacks. It was cut. That it's just voice and kind of like, that's not animated. It's like
the storyboards or whatever.
It was okay. It was. I mean, I understand why they cut it. Crash music video. I also accidentally started the commentary before all this because it's called A Word from the Creators. It's not called commentary. I thought it was maybe they were going to be sitting there like Guillermo del Toro and be like, hey guys, it's literally, it starts the fucking film with the commentary. And I was like, what? How did this win? Must have been Slim Pickens. And I'm not talking about the actor.
Was that in Austin Powers with his animated menu?
Or like the shit you could just turn on and shag to or whatever. Also, this was funny. The first thing they say is like, hey, if you're watching this for the first time, don't watch this with the commentary. And I'm like, and that's not the first time I've heard like that on a commentary.
People say it all the time, even to this day.
I was like, was that a fucking, like, did people do that? Like, I guess so, but they said they wanted to start it out like James Bond.
Mission accomplished.
They got TMS from like the regular shows and like Mask of the Phantasm to work on this because they were too overloaded.
Oh, the studio or whatever.
Yeah, like the Japanese studio or whatever. They were the reason why there was like no like real title sequence because they literally ran out of time. It was like American Movie. They were cutting it up to like the fucking finish line of this being put out.
You tell me.
Yeah. They were talking about how like it was so like there's a misconception that like there was CG in the shows, but it was like they did hand drawn and then they used the computer to color it, which saves a lot of time and they can do the backgrounds with like that kind of stuff too. And he was like, even with CG, the computer is just a tool and stuff like that. And I was just like,
words to live by.
Also, I don't know if you realize this, but like I didn't realize it until they brought it up in the commentary, but he drops off the Powers guys after he saves him from the boat and like, essentially plays the police, the thing of him saying, he's in collusion with like the Joker. And as he's leaving, one of the police officers salutes him. And, like, they were like, we realized that, like, they accidentally had a police officer salute Batman. And they put that in the storyboard, and then it got animated when they sent that off to, like, to Japan or whatever. And they were like, well, whatever, it's just, like, a funny thing. But he, like, thought it was funny that a police officer was, like, saluting Batman for no reason.
Dude, all the police should salute Batman.
Well, they're
doing their jobs for 60 years.
I mean, they should, but, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it was just funny. It's like, they were also laughing because they were talking about how, I think we had talked about this before possibly, but like how years ago DC put it up to the fans for the Joker to kill Robin or not, like Jason Todd, and they overwhelmingly said kill him. And so like they fucking killed him and they said that's like one of DC's biggest like they wish they would have never done that. But like
that's the last time we let someone
yeah,
have the microphone.
yeah. Like, why is your
Never let the fans choose,
yeah.
dude.
But like that, the reason why they brought that up is because originally I think like some of the fans thought that they were going to kill Robin because there was that whole thing about like what happens to Robin or whatever. Originally they had this idea to have the Joker drop a giant pie from space instead of the laser, and they were like, "Oh, this isn't great." And then the more they thought about it, they were like, "Nah, that's kind of silly." But it was going to be like this huge metal pie.
I would have liked that.
But I was like, they were like, how would they even threaten like more than just one area? And then I have one more thing here that I ended up doing some extracurricular activity.
What?
There is a video game, Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, known as Batman of the Future: Return of the Joker in Europe. So this came out. This is made by Ubisoft and was made for Game Boy Color, PlayStation, and Nintendo 64. And I made it like 5 minutes into it before quitting.
Had you played it before? I'm guessing.
No. It's like a beat 'em up game, and essentially you play through the events of like the movie. And like I played it, and like it wasn't like hard or anything. It was just like literally like phone games are more complicated and more involving. It was kind of like reminded me of the Superman game where you literally just fly through rings. It was just like there's so much you could have done with it, and they've had great Batman games, but this wasn't one of them. I was like, man, this is like a disgrace to Batman Beyond. It was also
a lot of tie-in games were back then.
Yeah. But like Ubisoft, it was kind of funny because like now they're known for like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and all that. I think for a while there, people were like, hell yeah, they're great, but like I think people now are like, they're kind of known for just flipping assets and doing a fuck ton of microtransactions. So that's Batman Beyond. I think that's about it. That's pretty much everything. I mean, I don't know, I didn't go out and get the comics and read, like, because they've made Batman Beyond comics now based on the show and stuff, but I haven't really read any of those. But I think that's about as far as you can get into Batman Beyond.
Cool. Did the deep dive.
I think.
Yeah.
When we do it here, we do it right. We can entertain you all night. So, I guess, what'd you think overall with Batman Beyond?
Yeah, enjoyable show for sure.
Yeah.
I think the biggest things I'll take away from it are like it was cool to see what happened to Bruce Wayne once he got super old, and also the sci-fi setting.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a interesting idea. Like, there's actually a episode of the show where they kind of like they have a new Justice League and Superman's still out there fighting and stuff because he ages very slowly. I mean, he has gray on like his hair, but he's still like out fighting, and he has like new people that are with him and stuff now. Like, because there were a lot of other people retired due to age and stuff, but it's something that's interesting that, you know,
the Wonder Twins.
They might have someone like that in there, but yeah,
that's
interesting. Cool. I'm like, interesting. I'm like, fascinating.
I'm gonna go 7.95.
Nice
for both these.
That's a respectful.
Yep.
Nice. You're even rating the show. Nice. I like this.
How about you? I can take one guess.
Okay, go ahead.
9.95.
So I'll give the show a 9.95, but like the movie's like, I don't know, like it's probably like a 7.95 or an 8.95. It's not as good as Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah,
but,
I agree with you.
But
that's the
Jesus!
That's the
she looked at me and I was like, "Fucking Emotep has returned." She took a dude her eye. I was like, but I will say, like, on one hand, like, I give it a high rating because Mark Hamill is the Joker, but it's also, I feel like if maybe they hadn't done that and they had focused more on Batman Beyond's own villains, it might have been better to a degree. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I understand what they were going for, but it's also, like, there's a lot of, like, kind of, like, a little too much stuff with, like, the Joker gang and stuff like that, in my opinion. I like all the stuff with the Joker, but maybe they should have just cut the Joker gang out and just had it be about the Joker. Because, like, why is he not just doing all this shit himself? Like, he is the clown prince of crime, not the clown prince of delegation.
I can see that.
So, I just
Cool.
I love me some Mark Hamill Joker, but we'll never get him again because he said he retired after Kevin Conroy passed away. So,
Respect.
Mark Hamill has my infinite respect because he's like just a good person in general, and he loves the fans. So,
All right.
that's Batman Beyond. But what is Beyond this week?
Next week's picks. I have to redeem myself after Whoopi's whoopsies with a film that I think is solid. We're going to do Cape Fear from 1990,
Okay,
starring Robert De Niro and your boy Nick Nolte.
nice,
Directed by Martin Scorsese. So our first Scorsese film.
nice.
And for Weird Watches, we're going to do Cape Fear, the Simpsons episode that parodies this movie.
I think this is our first Simpsons thing on the podcast.
Yeah, so watch the movie first, obviously. But watch it with commentary. Have you seen that episode of The Simpsons? Or do you know which one I'm talking about?
I have no clue
Nice.
what you're talking about.
My guess is maybe you've seen it.
Maybe I've seen it and I just don't know because what season is it?
I think it's 5, either 4 or 5.
I'm not like a big Simpsons guy.
It's
like
in the
you.
prime of the
The
series.
show, yeah.
So yeah,
But I liked The Simpsons back in the day. I mean, that was like back in the day. Simpsons was like something it was like must watch.
yeah, and the Cape Fear episode is a stone cold classic.
But
So,
like, no, it's not. I can't remember the last time I watched Simpsons.
it's been
Sadly,
years.
but this isn't about shitting on The Simpsons. So yeah, that's it. And next week we'll talk about Cape Fear. Don't
Until
be
then.
scared.
Goodbye.
Ah!
Hey Matt, Vince here. I need you to check out the Buddy Shotz HQ. I've been getting some weird reports about it.
Well, it's been a long time since I've thought about buddy shots, but I guess for old time's sake, let's do it.
Well, good luck. Stay in the light and watch your back.
All right, see you soon. Damn, lights are busted. Mike, what are you doing here? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?
No, Matt, Bloody Shotz is gone. I have a wife and family now. Ugh. Dragon Ball, it's just kid stuff.
I'm calling an ambulance.
No, I'm alright. Vince, old nasty habits. Ugh, twisting inside me like bad oysters, but I'm okay now.
How'd you know Vince sent me?
There's nothing about Buddy Shotz. I don't know.
Matt! Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Vince, is that you? I wanted you to see this. It's gonna be a killer. Oh!
Oh, Jesus Christ. Holy shit!
What? That's right. I'm back, baby. It being over? More like over 9,000. Buddy Shotz will never be the same again.
believe this. Whoopie's whoopsies is all it took for me to finally break free from this idiot. Help that! Buddy shots. Mine now.
Will Matt get free? Will Vince be able to solve his next case? Will Mike ever be the same again? Tune in next time. Same buddy time. Same buddy channel.
Fucked up. I should have been like completely dressed in Dragon Ball stuff and got all kinds of stuff.
Like a hat, yeah, glasses.
Yeah, I have like a replica scouter and drag the Goku hair.
You got like a foam finger. Like,
Yeah, like,
Dragon Ball #1.
Yeah. I'm going to Rumble. I'm going to the slide. It's like, oh.
Should I mention Dragon Ball specifically?
Yeah, well, because that's. So essentially, I guess I'll go ahead and, this whole thing is about you get up, then we're going to do a thing where we'll film me getting up and I'll have the DVD and then there's going to be a lot of different camera angles in this, but I'll be like, we'll show it and stuff and I'll be like horrified with Bruce Wayne. Then I'm going to go to the DVD room and put it on the shelf, and then I'll flip the light off or whatever, and then we'll show like that trash can, and this will be in the trash can, and I'll be like, never again. And I'll look back into the darkness and just walk up the stairs.
Okay.
So that'll be the intro skit. So.
Look, I know you like Dragon Ball, and I'm not going to make you defend why you like it, but I hated it this episode.
Sorry, I was like halfway about to sneeze there. It didn't happen. Did you think that something?
I'm going to go into the skit flying, man.
Yeah, go for it.
You stupid fucking bitch!
I like how as you got more angry, you got quieter. You were like, yeah, I'm like, this is a great time for me to introduce Matt more to this thing he hated. The 3rd season out of fucking the show.
Deep cut.
Yeah, it's like, what? Okay. So I'll read out his lines so that you can react or whatever. And then I'm also going to get like, actual your face. So it's not just like, hey, we have the back of his fucking head. Okay. Okay, I guess let's go ahead and...
For old time's sake, let's do it.
I'm like, for old time's sake, James?
I think he's attempting re-entry.
I'm like, for England, James? No, for me. It's like, I'm pretty sure they're fine with what you're doing too, so... Anyway, okay.
Cool. Oh! No! No! Like it.
That chair's like... Yeah, that's great. Let's see here. Yeah, it's like...
Fucking haunted house over here.
I'm upstairs, I was like,
The Sasquatch.
I'm like, oh.
Do it again, but a little bit closer.
Oh, okay.
It was too far
I'm
away.
like Vince. You're like, oh. I'm like, line. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, Vince. I'm like, oh. I'm like, oh, Vince, you've been there. Vince, you've been there the whole time. This is wrong. Okay, so we'll stop there. I'm like,
Yeah, I agree with you.
but
That's the goal.
Jesus!
That's the
She
goal.
looked at me and I was like, fucking Emotep has returned. Like a computer eye. I was like,
Hip down, back up. It's like, wait, what?
I'm like,
Go put your back up on my hip and dip you, dip we dip.
head down, neck up.
It's like,
That's the way you want to get
that's
fucked.
the way you up chuck.
Yeah, I'm like a dog. It's like, it's not
Dude,
fun.
Gloria did that the other. She woke up, like I woke up and she was doing that, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
outside, like
yeah.
hurry. And she was like, going,
Yeah.
made it all the way to the edge, like to the door, and puked on the carpet. I was like, no. I think she ate a bunch of grass the day before, and I was like, crap.
Sometimes dogs do that if they're feeling sick to their stomach.
Yeah.
Because they don't have dog tums they can pop. But like Fonz will do that if he's really sick. If we let him outside, he'll be like, start sucking up leaves and shit, and then he's like, But dogs are like, it's like instant most times. It's like, But like speaking of that, I did that same thing. I was
You ate
on
a bunch of grass and puke.
Yeah, yesterday. I was on a plane, and I was like, oh god, I'm going to throw up. We landed, and I was like, okay, I think I'm going to make it. And I was like, okay, I got to get to the bathroom. And they're like, clear the way. And I made it all the way to the bathroom and puked on the toilet seat
Oh, jeez.
lid. I was like, no!
So close, but yet
Yeah.
so far.
So I pulled a Gloria. Or she pulled a me. All my clothes off. I'm so cool now.
The AC's blasting.
Not like cold, I'm just cool.
You're like, my future's so bright, I gotta wear shades.
Me, our future's so bright, we gotta wear shades. I'm like, why isn't Dr. Evil in fucking jail? They let him just fucking... I guess he escaped, and they were like, fuck it. They're like, we get your service commuted to fucking freedom. Because you helped Austin Powers one time. I'm like, I can't breathe. Actually, that'd be a problem, I guess we could.
No, it'd be fine. You're like, it's alright by me.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
like,
breathe by me.
if you weren't to breathe, I see you in hell.
You will pass away.
Like, and I go to hell every single day. Can't believe I fucking did that whole music video.
I know. one of
Just
the best
for
things ever.
1 week of the podcast. It wasn't even like a special. It wasn't like a.
It was special to me.
Well, I mean, an Oscar special. It wasn't even like a celebration. It was, you know what I mean?
That was a celebration of Steve.
But you know what I mean? I think that's the quality of Buddy Shots. Each week we deliver the content that the buddies crave. Yeah, we give them a crave case.
They're like, I crave it. Help me.
But I think we put out like quality content every week. Like every week we're doing these fucking skits.
Except last week.
Well, I mean, even last week there's gonna be like there was a song and dance.
Not true.
Okay, well, I guess I won't do it.
9.95. Emotion is feeling so high. 9.95. In overdrive. Put your body in overdrive. 9.95.